And welcome back to Mallorca. Welcome to the Best Centre. It's early July and it's getting hot around here. We're getting close to the racing season. And on today's programme, we talk to Celia Gaia, a 15-year-old who gives us some of the secrets about what it's like to volunteer in the call room at a major World Cup meet. We also put the world to rights with one of Ireland's longest-serving coaches, Brian Williamson. That's all coming up after the news. Swimming's greatest Olympian is 30 years old today, so many happy returns to the man who has won 22 Olympic medals, 18 of them gold. He also has 77 medals from Olympic, World and Pan-Pac competitions, of which 61 are gold. It really bends the mind. Not such good news though from France, as Yannick Agnel has withdrawn from the World Championships this summer in Kazan. The Olympic and world champion over 200 free is suffering from pleurisy, an inflammation and pain in the lungs, which may be related to the pneumonia he suffered 4 years ago. Agnel has stopped training and will refocus on Rio for next year. And another who stopped swimming this week is Katinka Hosszú. Swimming at the Hungarian Nationals in the ancient city of Győr in the northwest of the country, the Iron Lady swam the heats of the 100 back in a swift 59.8, but with no swim-down pool at the meet, she called it a day. And with the number of races she usually swims, you can understand why. The British junior swimmers are showing that the future of British swimming seems to be in good hands, as the team finished second in the medals table with 7 golds among 23 medals from the European juniors, which this year is part of the European Games in Baku. Russia dominated with 23 golds from a whopping 42 medals in all. And the Island Games are underway in Jersey this week in the Channel Islands, where the swimming events will be dominated by Pál Joensen of the Faroe Islands and Denmark for the Olympics, who won 9 events and medalled in 5 more when he took part 4 years ago. He started well on day 1 with a 14.57 in the 1500. 24 islands get together for the Games that are held every 2 years. Right, it's Irish Week this week and we're very fortunate to have Brian Williamson here again, who is a former national coach, seen coaching at every level, now coaching at Waterford Crystal, where, if I'm right, Brian, you've been there for what, 40 odd years?
40 years, 42 years exactly last month. So I started off in Waterford Crystal, a small country club, and I went down there with great ambitions to use it as a stepping stone and then move away after 2 years to a better place. But I fell in love with Waterford Crystal, and because the company Waterford Crystal was a very well-known water crystal maker, they built their own swimming pool for their employees. That's where I came in. I was managing the place, and it gave me an opportunity. I was really very selfish because it gave me an opportunity to become involved in my favourite activity, which is swimming coaching. And that's what I did. I managed the place and I also managed the club.
How many in the club at the moment?
We have about 134 swimmers, which is very, very promising because we have different sections. We have lots of support groups with teachers and coaches and parents and committees, the usual format that makes up a swimming club. Sometimes it can be a pain and sometimes it can be great, but you know, we're dealing with it. And we've come a long way because in those days we wouldn't have considered swimming at nationals or coming to this amazing venue, the best centre for the 16 swimmers to do a training session prior to the nationals. That was my probably ultimate dream 40 years ago. Here it is for the 3rd time we're here and we're loving it and the kids are loving it. Great incentives.
What are your memories of what the biggest differences are and the biggest changes?
Well, I think the biggest difference between now and then was that you have a lot of science back up, you have technical back up, you have professionals, sports psychologists involved, but really a lot has changed, but yet a lot hasn't changed, because at the end of the day, it's the swimmers that put the most into it, get the most out of it. They still have to work hard. They probably get more reward financially nowadays in relation to opportunities to travel all over the world with international teams, international competitions, big competitions, and that's the biggest change, I think. I think the biggest change has been the opportunities has been more widespread in relation to giving kids an opportunity at a very young age to develop their potential. Now I believe that's an important factor in life, that kids have to be involved from the time they're 10 until they're 18. And if you can keep them in swimming until they're 18, you have a swimmer for a lifetime. And that's what I believe. I mean, and in swimming and in sport, you get disappointments, you win some, you lose some, and if you can deal with that in sport, later on in life when you're in the serious business of trying to develop your own career, you're going to get disappointments. And if you can deal with it in sport, you're already ready for the next stage of your life.
What's your advice to younger people who want to go into coaching? There's a couple of things that you could say to those people, and remember this. What would it be?
Be honest. Make your program attractive. Make it interesting for the kids. Make it an enjoyable experience. My wishes at the end of my life, at the end of my career, would be that anybody that I've been involved with swimming, that you look back at their swimming career and say, yeah, that was worthwhile. But I think if you want to keep kids in swimming, make it enjoyable. Give them rewards for what they do. Give them trips. Bring them over to the best centre. Let them sample this atmosphere. Have a bit of sunshine. Go to water park and enjoy themselves. They'll think about this in 20 or 30 years' time, and they're all think, oh, that's a good time in my life. And if we can do that with swimming in general, we're going to be successful. We're going to compete against any other sport, and we're going to be as attractive as they are. That would be my
Thank you very much for coming. It's great to catch up with you. And good luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you, James.
Very lucky to have with us Celia Gaia, a 15-year-old who's training with us for a month and who's travelled around the world to get here. So Celia, tell us a little bit about your journey from the very beginning to this moment.
So I was born in Caen, France, in Normandy. And when I was 10 months old, I moved to Turkey, where I stayed there for 2 years, and I started kindergarten there. And then I moved to the French part of Switzerland, to Montreux, and I stayed there for about 6 years, and then moved to the German part in Bern, and I stayed there for about 4 years. And currently I'm in Singapore, and I've been here for about 3 years and a half, starting my 4th year. And I came here because I love swimming, and I discovered it when I arrived in Singapore, where it's so hot and swimming is the ideal sport. And my mum found this centre here, and I decided I really wanted to continue swimming in the summer, and came here for a few weeks to keep up my training and see how in the Balearic Championships I might do some PBs, and how this training here has affected my swimming.
And how have you enjoyed it here so far?
I have completely loved it, utterly loved it. I love Clem, my coach, and all my teammates who support me whenever the sets are hard or whenever we're doing land training. All the time we understand each other really well, and the atmosphere is great. There's never a negative competition or anything. It's always just the group together, and I really, really enjoy that.
Well, the championships are this weekend, so we wish you luck. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk with you is because you have a unique insight into what happens in the moments before the elite athletes go into race. So in Singapore, when they had the World Cup meet there recently, you were one of the volunteers who was put right in the ready room. So talk to us a little bit about what you saw, the kind of athletes that came into the ready room. What did they do and how did they behave? Tell us all about it.
So in the call room was a unique experience and really unforgettable for me as a young athlete. And athletes like Katinka Hosszu, Chad Leclos, Caitlin Leveres, great athletes were there, including Michael Andrew, quite a young athlete, which reflected a bit of the people I train with their same age. And it's incredible to see how a lot of people would think that the athletes are very concentrated and plugged in their earphones, not talking. But the atmosphere is completely different. There was a lot of times where they were laughing together, and Katinka was running from her race and had her jacket on and just ready to race, and was still laughing with her teammates and with people from the US team. And a lot of them are often talking to each other, and they're just so relaxed. They seem so relaxed. And then you have the younger swimmers who have their earphones plugged in and have their own pre-race routine. And a lot of them do some stretching, some dynamic exercises, and often you see that they're very relaxed, but you also see the concentration they have, and that the moment they just leave out the door, you can see how they really have the determination on their faces to do a great race and to push through whatever competition they have. And although the competition in the pool seems very rigorous and very, very dynamic, in the call room it's as if they were just friends and there was no competition. And it was great to see how they were all had their different routines before their races, and how they each of them managed to perform great with those specific routines.
What did you learn? What will you remember about that experience that you will take when you get ready for your races?
What I'll take off from that experience is not to be too nervous, but at the same time to be just a little bit nervous and anxious to get my adrenaline pumped and to really get ready. But I'll also think about how I have to stretch and how I have to really do my routine before anyone else can interfere, or if I talk to anyone else, because that's really what I know is going to make me better. And although they were talking a lot, they each went off and did their own routine before coming and getting their bibs pasted on by me and some of my friends working with me. And I'm just going to remember to just think about how they did it, how they were relaxed, about how they were really focused, and once they went out and were on the blocks, they were ready to go.
And how did they treat you?
They were very respectful, and I was quite surprised, because as a 15-year-old, and many of them in their 20s and their 30s, and really renowned athletes, you wouldn't think that they would be as respectful to you, but they were all very nice. And as I greeted some of them in their language, they were very recognizing, and they always said thank you, and they were really, really thankful when I put their bibs on, and they pasted it on even though it wouldn't stick very well. And they were very, very nice, and I was very surprised, and it made the experience a lot nicer, and it was really great.
And who was your favourite?
My favourite? I can't say there was really particularly a favourite, but I really admire Katinka Hosszu, because I saw her often just running out of the pool and coming back in the call room straight after her race was finished to come and do another race. And the determination that she had to do so many races in a day, I think it was about 19, and then she had a finals in the evening as well, that she was always ready and still laughing, she wasn't too nervous, and she still managed to race so well. She really shows all young athletes that really you can do whatever you want if you really put your mind to it, and you really do whatever it takes to get up there.
Now, you've been around the world, lived in many countries, you probably speak many languages. How many languages do you speak, and where does English sit in how good you are at languages?
Fluently, I speak 3 languages, French, German and English. My mum is French, my dad is German, so those 2 languages come from there. And the English comes from starting kindergarten in Turkey, an English system. And I never switched to a French or German system, even though I was in Switzerland, because I really like the English system, and because I started young, it was easier to adapt. And currently, I'm in an international school in Singapore, which also has, it does the IB diploma, so it's still an English system. And in Singapore, I learned Chinese, and currently, I will start in my IB year when I go back to Singapore, and I'll start Spanish, but I've started some learning here as well. So that's 5 languages in the world.
Well, there we go. We'll wish you the best of luck this weekend, and with your future swimming and wherever the world and life takes you, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your company today. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you the same time, same place next week. Bye for now.